That's really nice. Well, some weekends we did. I think we have
It's crazy. Baby's birthday, I'm sure. Hi, Jean. Hey, another Jean. All three of our Jeans are here today. Yeah. Is there a Jean?
Well, I like these shoes.
We have three Jeans.
They go well with my socks.
It's unusual because I hardly ever run into a Jean.
I never run into a Sally either, and I am
Going out with.
I am the only one here.
Oh no, our administrator is Sally.
Yeah, but she doesn't spell it the same way, and she isn't anymore. So
They're real fun.
Sarah.
Sarah.
It's a light crowd now. A lot of them fly
Hi, Brad. How are you? I'm Gene Barlow, I'm the one that puts together the program, and we spoke. Yes. Do you remember me sitting next to you in Pathways now?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Venice Christmas service. At UCOV, we work to bring the world a message of hope and to share with all the sure and certain knowledge of universal grace. My name is Janet Knudsen. I'm your worship associate today. People come here to UCOV for many reasons, and whether you came following a star or because you had nowhere else to be, you are welcome here. Shepherds and wise men, angels, stable owners, and little drummer children all are welcome here. We welcome the young family looking for a place to have their child, and we welcome the kings and queens who come bearing rich gifts. Here, there is room for everyone. We have just a couple of announcements this morning, so we thought we'd get them out of the way early. First of all, Meatless Monday, which would normally be on January 1st, is going to be on January 8th. I know many of us, at the end of the Sunday service, discard our order of service, that white paper that you're handed on the way in, and we put it in the recycle bin, and that's good. However, today we ask that you please take the service home with you, because there is an important social justice related link at the bottom of the page. Lisa will now play the prelude. This morning's chalice lighting reading is adapted from Lighting by Lisa Rubin. Let us be still in the darkness of our sacred space and listen to the quiet around us. For even in the quiet, there is the gentle being with others. Let us feel the warmth of our community, knowing we are not alone. For in the quiet shadow is the glow of life within all. Let us know in the darkness the gift each candle bears, a small flame, a diminutive light, yet the wondrous gift to kindle another's glow. Let us be in awe at this moment as we light our chalice here and the glow envelops the room. As hope for peace and goodwill fill this day, so may it be. This morning's service will be led by our interim minister, Reverend Amy Petrie Shaw.
Slowly. Isaiah in the Bible, 9:6, says, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." Those are some very big words for a very small baby. They're also amazing prophetic words, words that make us a promise over 2,000 years later. They say, "Come, everyone," because we can make a space where everyone is welcome. Come and celebrate the birth of a holy child. Come and celebrate the birth of every child. Emmanuel, God with us, come and adore him. Make a room in your hearts for the lessons of the Prince of Peace. It reminds us that everyone is welcome, that you can be born poor in a stable or rich in a mansion and still matter, that war isn't the answer. One wonderful thing to be born to us on this day, the idea that peace can happen. So come and let us worship here together on this sacred morning. Please take just a moment to say hello or to introduce yourself to the people around you this morning.
Now I realize you did this, and I did the connection. Brad talked to both of us yesterday. He thought he was talking to
We're going to be doing traditional words today. If you don't like those, you're more than welcome to open your hymnal and use the words in the hymnal. But for most of these, we'll be using the traditional words. You have the song sheet for them. We're going to start off with number 253, "O Come All Ye Faithful." We're going to do it once in English and once in Latin. Yeah, I'm mean. So please rise. Embody your spirit as you are willing and join in singing number 253. For our children's chapel today, we're going to be talking today, and later when you guys leave, we're going to be talking about a story that was written over 2,000 years ago. Some of you may have already heard it, and if you know it, I ask you to listen as if it were the very first time. And here's how the story goes. In those days, the boss, whose name was Caesar Augustus, and he was like the governor, he put out word that he wanted everybody to go home to the city they were born in so that they could be registered. He could make a list of everybody so that he could tax them. And so everybody, no matter where they were, went home so that they could be enrolled on the tax list. And a man named Joseph, who had been living in Galilee, in the city of Nazareth, went to Bethlehem, where he had been born, because all his relatives lived there. And he took with him his girlfriend, and her name was Mary, and they weren't married yet. They were just betrothed, which is an old-fashioned way of saying they were engaged. Except Mary was already pregnant. And so when they got there, well, they waited a little too long, and she went into labor. And they looked and they looked and they looked for anywhere that they could get a room. Except all the rooms were rented because everybody went home to be on these tax rolls. And Joseph didn't really know what to do. So he looked around and he found an inn very near where his family lived. And he said to the innkeeper, "Do you have any rooms at all left?" And the innkeeper said, "No, we don't. But we do have space in our stable. And you can stay there." And so they went into the stable, and Mary had the baby in the warm straw, because there was just no other place to have a baby that day. And while they were doing this, there were a bunch of shepherds out in the field outside of town, and they were keeping an eye on their sheep, because shepherds work all the time, even on Christmas. And an angel showed up and said to them, "Don't be afraid." Well, that's easy to say when you're an angel, but not real easy to hear when you're a shepherd, because the angel had light all around them, and the shepherds were scared. And the angel said, "Don't be afraid. I bring you great tidings of joy for everybody. For on this day, a Savior was born in the city of David, in Bethlehem. And this is how you'll know when you see him. He'll be the baby laying in the manger." And suddenly a whole bunch of angels showed up, and bright lights were all over the sky. And they said, "Glory to God, and on earth peace to men of good will." And then the angels left, and the shepherds went to see if the angels were messing with them, because they weren't real sure that these were honest messengers from God. They didn't know what they were. Can you imagine if a bunch of bright lights just showed up over your yard? You're outside playing with the dog and all the lights go on. But so they went all the way into town to see what was happening. And they found Mary, and they found Joseph, her boyfriend, and there was the baby, just like the angels told them. And they understood that the angels hadn't lied, that this was a special baby. Thanks. And they told Mary, the baby's mother, what they had heard from the angels. And she didn't say much to them about it. But after they left, she spent her time thinking, could this be true? I bet this is true. And after 8 days, which was the normal back then, it took 8 days to name the baby. For the first 8 days, you just got called baby or son or daughter or kid. But after 8 days, they named the baby, and they named him Jesus. And so that's the story we're going to be talking about later today, the story of this person who came down, who lived for 32 years and who died. And we don't know if he was really some kind of a god. We don't know that. But what we do know is that he said there's a better way than killing each other. There's a better way than war. We know that this young Jewish man saw a way for the world to be better. And that was born on this day. So that's what we're talking about today. And I'd like to ask you all to help me just sing the children out with the words of the Reed benediction. Christmas is one of the few times a year where I typically don't do a joke, because it's the time of year that I remind you that you have been given a great gift. You've been given a gift of a loving community that helps you to grow in this idea of living in peace, working for justice. And so today it's doubly important that we recognize and we respect any of the gifts that are given in love for the life and the work of this community. The morning offering will now be given and gratefully received. I ask that you remain seated and join in singing number 235, Deck the Halls. The words are in your handout. We all know that the church is not the building, but the people, a congregation of human hands and human hearts. And we come together here to share our laughter and our joy and our tears. We're entering into a time of sharing our joys and concerns, and you can raise a hand. Someone will bring you a microphone. Please share information only with permission. So if you have a joy or a concern to share, please raise a hand.
I'm Nan Kritzler, and I live in a van. I used to be a member here for many years, and I'm happy to be back to see all my old friends.
Yay!
I was just waving at her.
Oh, you were just waving. Okay.
You got some over here.
Hi, I'm Jean. It's wonderful to see all the faces of our family here. I want to thank Reverend Amy because she writes a column periodically in the Gondolier, and since it's public print, I didn't ask her permission. But her column for Wednesday's paper was very heartwarming and spiritually giving. Thank you, Amy.
Hello and happy holidays. I'm Kim McHugh. About 6 years ago, I was fortunate enough to attend a woman's soul retreat at a UUA camp and conference center in the Berkshires in Massachusetts. It was a 5-day retreat. We've had a pamphlet or some information in the lobby for several weeks now about a women's retreat right here north of Sarasota, April 5th to the 7th. I'm interested, and if anybody else is, please give a shout out to me.
We're living in historic times, and anyone who might not have gotten up to speed on this Amendment 14 insurrection subject matter, I have brought a little write-up that may be informative. We can get it. You can have it at the break at the end. Thank you.
Other joys or sorrows?
Once upon a time, I had 5 brothers and 3 sisters. As of now, I have 1 sister and 1 brother. And I talked to them both on the phone yesterday, my sister in Ireland and my brother in Melbourne, Australia.
There was another hand.
Good morning, I'm Marcia Zurek. I just want to say that I feel blessed and my heart is warmed to be able to celebrate Christmas for the first time in many years. My daughter, Aspen, who's here from Rochester. Merry Christmas, everyone.
And welcome to you. Any other joys or sorrows? I personally feel a joy to see so many men here today. Isn't this the day you do all your shopping?
Yeah.
I have one small sorrow and a joy. Obviously, I have sprained my ankle very badly, which is why I'm sitting in this chair. And it has been a joy, and I so have appreciated the help that I've received. So thank you, everyone, that has been so wonderful. While Nancy's sick and I'm limping around, it has been greatly appreciated. May the love of this community hold all who need love and concern, and may the light of our community shine on the broken places of the world. May we never look away when we're needed. May those who are grieving be comforted, and those who are tired find rest. May the broken places be healed, and may those who are filled with joy and laughter be abundant. I'm stepping out because I don't feel well. If I don't come back, keep reading.
Okay. Our first reading is Christmas Comes, Whether You're Ready or Not, by Cynthia Fredo. I am always in a bit of a shock when December 1st arrives on the calendar. I always feel like there should be at least another week beyond Thanksgiving before I can even contemplate the next holiday. I think, however, that beyond the incredible demands of the season, the hardest part to reconcile is that the heart is not always in sync with angels, presents, babes in a manger, and the ho, ho, ho that is Christmas. Sometimes it feels like you just go through the motions because that is what's expected. Sometimes I wish Christmas would take a vacation and return midwinter next year. Yet there is something compelling about the fact that Christmas comes no matter what. The celebration of the birth of Jesus comes no matter the season of your heart. The Prince of Peace, the baby that would bring a message of universal equality, compassion, forgiveness, and love, is reborn again and again and again, no matter our state of mind or being, indeed, in spite of it. Perhaps that is the real miracle of the season, that hope and possibility cannot be denied. As I contemplate the state of the world at this moment in time, I cannot think of anything more needed than a reminder of our potential to bring peace and healing and possibility into our lives. We don't always feel it or see it or think it is there, but then there comes Christmas, even when we aren't ready to receive it. A reminder that no matter what season of the heart that we are in, no matter what struggles or grief are consuming us, Christmas will not let us forget the light that was born in us, even on the darkest night of our souls. So even if you cannot deal with all the razzle, dazzle, and expense of this holiday, at the very least, open the inn door and prepare the manger of your heart for the gentle but powerful message that is seeking to be reborn in you. Never forget that you are a child of the universe, and where there is life, there is light and love and hope waiting to be reborn again and again and again. So turn on some twinkling lights, pour yourself a glass of eggnog, or not, and wait for that angel chorus to announce your heart's rebirth. This morning's meditation is Emmanuel by Sarah Movius Schur. Emmanuel means God is with us. Who is your Emmanuel? Who is your God is with us, the one you were promised, the one you have been waiting for? For the ancient prophet Isaiah, he was a boy, soon to be born, who would guide the people of Judah back to peace and harmony with God. He would bring hope for victory and greatness in the tribe. He would be a gift from God to his chosen people. Who is your Emmanuel? Your God is with us. For Christians, he is Jesus of Nazareth, the baby in the Christmas story, who grew to be a remarkable teacher among the Jewish people, whose ideas about love, forgiveness, and justice changed the world forever. Who is your Emmanuel? Your God is with us. Perhaps your Emmanuel is a political leader, standing for the rights of the oppressed, a Martin Luther King, a Gandhi, a Mother Jones. Perhaps in their work with people, you feel God is with us. Who is your Emmanuel? Your God is with us. Perhaps your Emmanuel is an artist, bringing transcendence to the human spirit and lifting our hopes and dreams into the light. A J.S. Bach, a Martha Graham, a William Shakespeare. Perhaps in the presence of great beauty and creativity, you feel God is with us. Who is your Emmanuel? Your God is with us. Perhaps it is a child created from our bodies, the child who is filled with the potential to do every great thing. Your promise from God that the world has hope for justice and beauty. For in the presence of a child, we too can feel that God is with us all. Please join me in 1 minute of silent meditation, thought, or prayer. Lisa will now play the prelude. Sorry, the interlude. Thank you, Lisa. Our second reading is adapted from The Jar of Fools, 8 Hanukkah Stories from Helm by Eric A. Kimmel. People have asked for many years how Jesus could be both a man and something more than a man. If he came from a human, if he was born like a human on this night or some other, how could he become something more? Well, this story, a Jewish teaching story, does a good job of explaining how something can be sacred and not so sacred at the same time. A long time ago in Poland, in a town called Helm, a farmer was driving his cart. It was piled up high with hay, and the hay fork he had been using was balanced on the top. A hay fork is like a pitchfork, except it is flat, and it has more points on it. It looks a lot like a big piece of a comb. Well, the farmer hit a bump, and his hay fork fell off onto the street behind him without him noticing. 2 men named Beryl and Fievel came walking along the same road a few minutes later. They didn't know anything about farming. "Look," said Beryl. He picked up the hay fork. "This must be a menorah." He held it out so Fievel could look. "See, it has 8 branches and a longer branch in the middle. It is a menorah, and God himself must have dropped it here for us to find." Fievel agreed. And so they took the hay fork home, and they polished and polished it until all the dirt was gone and the metal gleamed. That very night, they took it to the synagogue in town for Hanukkah. They jammed the end of the handle in the sand, and they put candles on the 8 points, and they lit it for the service. But a few minutes later, the farmer who had lost his hay fork arrived, and he recognized it. "That is no menorah," he said loudly. "That is my hay fork, and I want it back." The rabbi of Helm wasn't sure what to do, but after thinking for a minute, he said, "In Lublin there is a great, wise man. Let us go ask him, is it a hay fork or is it a menorah?" The whole town wanted to hear the wisdom of this man, so they walked together the few miles to Lublin. The wise man took the hay fork and he looked at it. He listened to the rabbi and to Beryl and Fievel, who said it was a menorah. He listened to the farmer, who said it was a hay fork. He thought long and hard. It is a menorah, the wise man said at last. The great Rabbi Isaac Luria has said that when an item has been used for sacred purposes, it keeps the sparks of holiness and can never be just an item again. Using it that way would be a sin. Beryl and Fievel began to congratulate one another, but the wise man went on. And now you must pay the farmer $18. $18, they exclaimed, for a hay fork? What do you mean, said the farmer. Can't you tell a menorah when you see one? And that is how the famous menorah came to the Grand Synagogue of Helm. Don't be fooled. True, it may resemble a hay fork, but it has the soul of a menorah. Sacred work sanctifies. If you engage in the work of the holy, you too become sacred. Now please rise as you're willing or able and join in singing hymn number 237, The First Noel.
You know, Christmas is traditionally a time for stories. And I want to tell you one now. It's from Robert Fulghum's book, All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. And it's called Hong Duck, the One-Man Christmas Choir. Fulghum writes, a Sunday afternoon it was, some days before Christmas. With rain, with wind, with cold, winter's gloom, oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Fa la 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 la. This holy hour was jarred by a pounding at the door. Now what? Deep sigh. Opening it, resigned to accept whatever bad news lies in wait, I am, well, nonplussed. A rather small person in a cheap Santa mask, carrying a large brown paper bag out thrust. Trick or treat! What? Trick or treat! Tongue-tied, I stare, and he shakes the bag at me. Dumbly, I fish out my wallet and drop $1 in the bag. The mask lifts, and it's an Asian kid with a $10 grin taking up most of his face. Want to hear some caroling, he asks in sing-song English. I know him now. He belongs to a family settled into the neighborhood by Quakers last year. Boat people. Vietnamese, I believe. Refugees. He stopped by at Halloween with his sisters and brother, and I filled their bags. Hong Duck is his name. He's maybe 8. Want to hear some caroling? Sure. Where's the choir? I'm it, he says. And he launched forth with an up-tempo chorus of Jingle Bells at full lung power. This was followed by an equally enthusiastic rendering of what I swear sounded like Hark the Herry Angels Sing. And finally a soft-voiced, reverential singing of Silent Night. Head back, eyes closed, from the bottom of his heart he poured out the last strains of Sleep in Heavenly Peace into the gathering night. Wet-eyed and dumbstruck by his performance, I pulled a $5 bill out of my wallet and I dropped that in the paper bag. In return, he produced half a candy cane from his pocket and he passed it solemnly to me. Flashing that $10 grin, he turned and ran from the porch and shouted, "God bless you, trick or treat," and he was gone. Who was that masked kid? Hong Duck, the one-man choir, delivering Christmas door to door. I confess I'm usually a little confused about Christmas. It never has made a lot of sense to me. It's unreal. Singing about riding in a one-horse open sleigh is ludicrous. I've never seen one, much less ridden in one. Wouldn't know how to if I had one, and I hear they're no big deal anyway. Wandering wise men raise my suspicions, and shepherds who spend their lives hanging about with sheep are a little strange. I've never seen an angel either, and my experience with virgins is really limited. The appearance of a newborn king doesn't interest me. I'd just as soon settle for some other president. Babies and reindeer stink. I've been around them both, and I know the little town of Bethlehem is a pit, according to those who've been there. Singing about things I've never seen or done or wanted, dreaming of a white Christmas I've never known. Christmas isn't very real, and yet, I'm too old to believe in it and too young to give up on it. Too cynical to get into it and too needy to stay out of it. Trick or treat. After I shut the door came near hysteria, laughter and tears, and that funny feeling you get when you know that once again Christmas has come to you. Right down my chimney, my midwinter hovel, comes Saint Hong Duck. He's confused about the details like me, but very clear about the spirit of the season. It's an excuse to go and celebrate, to throw yourself into holiday with all that you have wherever you are. I'm it, says he. Where's Christmas? I ask myself. I'm it, comes the echo. I'm it. Head back, eyes closed, voice raised, in whatever song I can muster the courage to sing. Some God, it is said, once sent a child upon a starry night that the world might know hope and joy. I'm not sure that I quite believe, especially in all the baggage heaped upon that story during 2,000 years. But I am quite sure that I believe in Hong Duck, the one-man Christmas choir, shouting trick or treat door to door. I don't know who or what sent him, but I know that I am tricked through the whimsical mischief of fate into joining the choir that sings of hope and joy. Through a child, I have been treated to Christmas. Now, I love that story because it reminds me to take away all the layers that have been added to this Christmas story over the last 2,000 plus years. And to remember that through a child, I've been treated to Christmas. A refugee child born to brown-skinned, unmarried refugee parents. A child born to a mother whose baby's daddy was not the same thing as the man walking beside her, the man she was going to marry. A child called Emmanuel, which translates to God with us, a child called Jesus. Now, in 1809, a traveler passing through Kentucky stopped at the Hanks store and asked, "Anything happen around here lately?" And he was told, "Nothing ever happens around here, just a baby born out at the Lincoln cabin last night, that's all. Just a baby. In the Lincoln cabin, in a manger, just a baby." And you never know what may happen in the world because just a baby was born. In Bethlehem, an innkeeper didn't know who he was turning away. Even Mary, according to the story, couldn't fully imagine what it all might mean. What child is this? That's the question the whole world asks over and over and over. Is this a special child? Is this the child the angels are waiting for, a child that will bring peace? The man, Jesus of Nazareth, the Jewish man, who lived right in the middle of where all heck is breaking loose right now. That brown-skinned man. He didn't come to be a warrior, and he didn't throw thunderbolts. He was born in a barn or in a manger. No matter how you read it, he wasn't born rich and famous. He grew up and he said, "I'm it. I figured out a way to do this better. Listen. Love your neighbor. Listen, this is the important bit. They're all your neighbor. They're all your neighbor. Love your neighbor and see me in every face, because what you do to the least of them, you do to me." And then he said one more thing. You do the same. You rise up and you say, "I'm it. No one else is coming right now, and I'm going to stand up and sing my heart out." Recognize that tonight and every night that a child is born is a holy night. Recognize that you and your children and your grandchildren, they're the holy children awaited for by angels. You too can bring Christmas. It's the day that light and hope are reborn in a hurt world, when love is embodied to save the rest of us from despair. When humans can recognize that they're one great family and no one should be left outside the door. So when the wise men come knocking or the angels search for the child, and they knock at your door, rise up and say, "I'm it. Emmanuel, God with us. I'm it." Open your heart, welcome it in every day, today, tomorrow. Be the love which has come to earth. Hear that story as your own. You rise up and you say, "I'm it," and then you sing whatever you've got to sing, because nobody else is coming. You're it. Merry Christmas and amen. Janet, I'm going to ask if you wouldn't mind. Would you extinguish the chalice for me? Please rise and body your spirit for our number 251, Silent Night. The words are in your handout. On this night, illuminated by a story and a star, we witness a miracle, a birth heralding our birth, pregnant with promise and oh so surpassingly strange, a life no less magical than ours, a death to charge our day with purpose. Help us to live in such a way that our lives, too, will prove worth dying for, and joy to the world on this silent night.